Let's begin. Let's go with this. Hi, David Zunker here, astrologer, tarot card reader, tarotist, and pagan priest. And I have a mostly astrology Twitter page as at Isis Priest. And there I had a follower ask me to do a video on, or give at least talk about, in some manner, Pluto's entry into Aquarius, which is happening this month. Today's date, I believe, is the 12th of March, 2023. So, hi, and greetings from Victoria, British Columbia. And it's a big event here in astrologically, Pluto entering into Aquarius. It is in and out of Aquarius this year, 2023, and it will be going up. Think to about 4 or 5 degrees of Aquarius, and then going retrograde again back into Capricorn briefly this year, 2023. It is not until 2024, 25, when Pluto is firmly and exclusively in Aquarius. So what does this mean? Well, let's start by looking at where Pluto has been. Pluto is, of course, a very slow-moving planet. And we can see that it has been in Capricorn, where it is today, not for just for less than a week now. It'll be still in Capricorn from 2008. Of course, some of these years are like this one. Pluto moves into Aquarius 2023 and 2024 because of the retrograde motion going back and forth. So Pluto in Capricorn since 2008, since the little stock market crash we had then. And really what Pluto does in a sign is it breaks down systems. It is the planet of transformation, the planet of death, the planet of sexuality, the planet of its intensity, the planet of the hidden forces, the hidden underworld. Of course, Pluto is the Roman version of Hades, the god, Roman and Greek god, respectively, of the underworld and the land of the dead. So, yes, I know Pluto has been kind of getting slagged by astronomers and is kind of on and off a planet or a minor planet or kind of. But in astrology, Pluto's there. It's locked in as a planet that we consider. Not so much in the individual chart, but in the course of the larger picture, the kind of the evolution of humanity is where Pluto stands out more. So what we see here is Pluto moving. Why don't we take it back to, say, the 70s, 1971 to 1984. Pluto was in Libra. What did we see in that period of time? Libra is the sign of relationships. And so what we saw during this time is the kind of the instability of the traditional family, of marriages, separation, divorce, couples not bothering to get married. This was the transformation we saw of Pluto putting into relationships. Then Pluto moves into Scorpio in 1984 to 1995. And what is represented here is a transformation. Pluto in its own sign of Scorpio is very strong. We saw a transformation in Scorpio things, which is business and sexuality, where Libra is people coming together. Scorpio is the results or the what happens when people can work together. Or so what we saw in that time period, 84 to 95, was a shakeup around sexuality. We had the AIDS crisis. We had the coming forward of rights for non-binary people. We have business kind of exerting maybe more hidden control over governments and economics. We have so a transformation in, we'll call it business and human sexual expression on a cultural level. What is, not just accepted, but what is prevalent and what is really about human rights coming to the fore. And that's the track I'm going with here as we go into Pluto in Sagittarius, 1996 to 2008. And here we see kind of the influence of Pluto in Sagittarius as kind of a breakdown of Sagittarius representing beliefs, human belief systems, the legalities of that human kind of religion, big concepts, religion, democracy, nationhood, all these kind of concepts that in Sagittarius, Pluto in Sagittarius, those are breaking down in kind of importance. We have religion losing its roots. You go to a established church these days in many countries, in many Western nations, and they're empty and they're just full of old people and occasional families. We have sort of a falling away of importance of these kind of institutionalized systems of belief in general. And all these trends of Pluto show an evolution, show, in my opinion, a growth, a betterment of humanity. And so now we still are in Pluto in Capricorn. So Capricorn represents those grandiose ideas and ideals of Sagittarius are codified into social, government, economic structures. And what we see now is Pluto having gone through Capricorn 2008 to now 2023-24 as a breaking up, a revealing of that swamp that is kind of a trendy term for those in power. We see a crumbling of social structures, the lack of importance of government, the lack of importance of church and state. These things are going by the wayside, but for what? Into Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of community, of people supporting each other, of the significance of individuality and self-development. And but it's not selfishness. It's kind of into joining. Aquarius is clubs, groups, nonprofits, about how people can come together as individuals. So it's definitely improvement. Another big thing about Aquarius is technology. And just as we have Pluto moving into Aquarius, we have AI. art available. We have AI writing. We have AI kind of thinking for us. Now, some people are kind of concerned about that trend, but it has to be seen as evolution because the tech world is where we are going. It is part of human evolution and what we see in this. So let's get down to some of these things that we can expect. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was now, although Pluto wasn't even discovered until the late 1930s, some astrologers kind of look at where it was previous to that. And that was 1777 to 1797. So it has taken some 250 years to come back to Aquarius. And what was going on in that time? Well, it's pretty obvious. This was the time for republics, the development of the republic, the end of the supremacy of the feudal system, the beginnings of the industrial age over agriculture and and of course, the American Revolution, yes, 1776, but the battles were fought 77 to 79. The new republic was born during this early part of Pluto and Aquarius. Also, the French Revolution, too, in the early mid 1790s, 1796 thereabouts, where the guillotine was very active in disposing of the feudal leaders of France. So we get a sense here of Pluto and Aquarius meaning a populist kind of revolution or a replacing of old systems. And that's what we're going to be seeing again. Now, let's look at just what I've got a whole bunch of dates here, and I'm not going to kind of say them all because it makes this too long and misses the point. But one important date, we have a few important dates. One is March 23rd, when Pluto enters Aquarius. And it is really emphasized on April 20th, which is a new moon eclipse at 30 degrees Aries. So what this is it is squaring pretty close by only, even though you would think what squares early Aquarius is early Taurus, and that is true, but it is so close from Aries square to Pluto in early Aquarius that it is less than 30 degrees apart. So this is a big square on this eclipse. And what it shows is a whole kind of summer, spring and summer. An eclipse is not just the date, it is not just that week. It shows change for like kind of a month before, going kind of 2 or 3 months after the eclipse. So it looks like a really kind of active change time is being ushered in with this April 20th eclipse, new moon. Now, what kind of active? Well, we can certainly see, we'll really expect to see a lot of these indictments. The legal system, the ponderous legal system in the United States is having at the insurrectionists, the Trump even, because what we see here overall is a change in governance. The last of these Capricornian power structures begin to crumble. And it's, obviously this process takes quite a while. And it's going to be like till 2040, I believe, until we really are, when we have about 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius for this to get worked out. And what's working out is the end of the fearless leader. I have to reflect on watching Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons in my formative years, if anybody knows what that is. And there was a minor character in there called the fearless leader that the Rocky and Bullwinkle's nemesis, Boris and Natasha, would bow to their fearless leader, the bad guys. And what we see here in our world today is fearless leaders. So-called Trump as a leader, a basic kind of amoral criminal, petty criminal, and huge murderous criminals like Putin, who was a KGB operative, whose basically his job was to murder people. And in China, in Korea, things in Saudi Arabia, which is, quote, unto the royal family. Yeah, right. I mean, royal families went out of vogue in 1796. So basically, a family of murderous gangsters. These are representative of our rulers, people that kind of think that they're better than you. And, it's obviously they are not. They're amoral and they don't care about you. They don't care about families. They don't care about people. So we're seeing their power fade. Now, kind of let's tie that in to two things, to the development in technology and what tropical astrologers call the coming of the age of Aquarius. Because certainly Pluto in Aquarius seems to be a fine representative time for the beginning of the age of Aquarius. Now, I don't think, as an astrologer, so many astrologers say, well, we're in the age of Aquarius. Well, I don't think we are. Not yet. We are more in the fulfillment of the promise of the age of Pisces. Here's a good one. Age of Pisces in astrology is said to have started around the time of the birth of Jesus. And so the symbol for the age of Pisces is the fish, to fish, which certainly fits in with early Christianity, when a symbol for Christianity and for Christ was the fish. Also, the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo. So we have Virgo the Virgin. That symbol then is, equates with the Virgin Mary. And so we have these symbols for the age around the beginning of the age. Cool. And the age of Pisces is about the message of Christ, not the Old Testament message, not the Ten Commandments, not the fire and brimstone, but the Beatitudes about blessed be the merciful, about the positive message about universal love. And this is what's kind of coming to the fore now. And we're going to see more compassion and more peace before the advent of the age of Aquarius. What is the symbol then for the age of Aquarius? Well, I don't think we quite see them yet, because the symbol for Aquarius, of course, is the starry sky, the space, the aethers. Aquarius may be called the water bearer, but it is not pouring water. Aquarius, the symbol, is an angel pouring the aethers, or the substance of matter and 3 dimensions and space, pouring the aethers. And opposite that is Leo, the lion. So let's look at that. To me, it seems that it has to do with technology, that I don't necessarily believe that it's going to have to do with UFOs or interstellar or extraterrestrials, but certainly the idea of UFOs really fits with Aquarius. And it reminds me too of a message in the Rastafarian religion, Iman. I like to think about there's a message that the Black Star liners will come from the sky and take the faithful back to Africa. Kind of a sense of support or rescue, if you will, from this idea of a alien support, and hence tie that into angels. You have the symbol for Aquarius. What's the other side of that story in Rastafarianism is that the Leo is the Lion of Judah, Haile Selassie, the return of the king. So very much though, that Leo and Aquarius polarity is about that lion is not necessarily a ruler, because what Aquarius, age of Aquarius, is taking us away from rulers per se, quite. But it is about the prominence and the importance of individuality, and that what has been termed, so that individual Christ consciousness, that connection we each have with spirit and source and divinity and purity that we each have. And here, this is what the Leo expression is about, that creative expression of individuals. And let's take a look at this change as well from previously in the late 1700s, this move into the age of industry, of machines, of the laying of railway track, of giant kind of mining and foundries and making machines. And now we have the age of Aquarius again, but we're shifting into high tech, IT, AI. And it's interesting that the old ways of leaders of nations, that the populace is there to support the nation, that the leader is there to guide the populace and the nation. We're seeing what nonsense this is. That we're seeing that nobody wants their children to be cannon fodder for their leader or their nation. Um, we're seeing that in the age of industry, war was profitable. War was supported business. It's the age of steel, the age of oil, the age of industry. Doesn't mind war. It can be a big help. But in the age of AI, in the age of IT, war is no longer beneficial ever. In the age of technology, what the age of technology wants is every kid in the world, every teen in Africa, in India, in China, to be doing okay, to have a cell phone, to be informed. We have this proliferation of technology, which is raising the vibration of humanity. People complain about the struggles these days, but if we look at statistics, there's less starvation, less even war, even with Putin's nonsense in Ukraine going on. There's more education for women, more human rights worldwide. And nothing is going to stop AI, IT. And thank goodness. Really. I would much rather be ruled by a computer that knows that it's been programmed with the value of human rights and human life than people like Trump and Putin and the Saudis who think people are expendable or war is a good thing or there's an advantage from destroying each other. So what we're going to see here over the next 20 years, so you can imagine it's going to be a bit of a bumpy road, is going to be basically the demise of nationhood, the demise of war, the demise of military expenditures. I always thought military intelligence was an oxymoron, but and according to AI, it is. So really, I have a lot of hope and positive things about this Pluto and Aquarius. What we're going to see maybe this year and in the next few years is this transition. And the transition is going to be about a lot of more kind of populist uprisings, more like we're seeing now in Iran, and which we had a few years ago in North Africa. We're going to be seeing kind of more demonstrations, more people taking their voice and expressing their power. And of course, you can expect that there's going to be some reaction to that. People that are in power, that like the power of their wealth, that like the power of their political position, are going to kind of fight against the rise of individuality and the rise of compassion and the rise of AI. But it is a path that is now going to be unavoidable. So let's look at the eclipse, April 20th. Notice what's going on around there. May as well looks significant with a lot of things going on with Pluto. Pluto going retrograde already May 1st. So entering Aquarius March 23rd and then going retrograde May 1st. It's kind of a rough spring and summer. But what I really want to kind of look at here is when Pluto goes back direct in October. So Pluto going back into Capricorn June 11th. And I think what's going to happen here is a lot of the turbulence and legal proceedings and scientific developments and things going on around in April, May will be more focused on dealing with past things from June into October. And then when we have Pluto going back into Aquarius. That was why I was looking at this sheet of paper to get this date, is January 2024, January 21st, 2024. And really, again, kind of an intense time. January 20th, the sun is, kind of just moving into the sign of Aquarius and conjuncting Pluto just as it does that at 30 degrees Capricorn. And then 21st into Aquarius, forward out of retrograde, moving back into Aquarius in January 2024. So it's like a lot of the initiatives of April and May to bring